Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roysum. I am super excited to return to a very popular series on great questions in web handling. In the last clip, we answered the question whether it is the winder's fault. In this clip, we will answer whether it is the web's fault. In the final clip in this series, we will have a single surprise answer to most general questions like this. I know your time is precious, so let's get started. This is a great question, as are all clips in this series. What makes a great question, you ask? First, web defects of all types, and there are hundreds and hundreds of common types, are usually in the top 3 causes of waste, delay, and customer complaints in most plants. Second, webs are economically essential for web-to-roll, roll-to-roll, and roll-to-sheet plants. Third, it is not so easy to give a single, short, simple answer, but I will try my best here. Finally, as with the last clip on winders, we have lots of customer-supplier finger-pointing, and this leads to confusion, frustration, and delay. Before we begin, we need to be quite specific about which precise category we are talking about when we say the web is no good. Perhaps the first to come to mind is that the web does not meet test specifications written on a shipping label or purchasing agreement. Even there, however, the case may not be as clear as you might think. First, are the test specs related to performance? Often they are assumed to be so, or just copied from some previous product and thus grandfathered in. Second, are the values of the specs carefully chosen to balance consumer-supplier risk for maximum system economics? Finally, is the measurement itself any good? And if so, is the sample size large enough to make statistically sound conclusions? I have a clip of sampling elsewhere on this All Web Handling channel of YouTube. These questions about specifications are very important. I have been personally involved in hundreds of cases where the specifications failed one of these tests. A second category of failure is the fault of the product process designer, not the web or web manufacturing. Again, I've been involved in hundreds of cases where the product was simply not economically manufacturable or economically windable or not stable in shipping and storage environments. When I say economically, I mean the physics are so unfavorable that the economics are poor due to high levels of waste, delay, or customer complaints, directly resulting from unchangeable physics. Finally, we get to my favorite web handling topic, and that is variation with respect to CD position, also called profile. Gauge or thickness bands are just one common example that leads to uncountable troubles on wound rolls. I have nearly a dozen clips on the subject of profile, including Web201.45c and Web201.49d. The fingerprint of both web manufacturing and web converting is streakiness. Lanes of trouble will come and go, but when they come, they tend to prefer certain CD locations. As I teach in my troubleshooting class, the location of the lane is usually far more important than the location and time. Finally, as I've warned in Web201.68b and many other places, that just because your product is in spec, or just because you can't see the thickness profile with one or more of your measurements, does not mean that the web is sufficiently level. As I teach in the advanced winding section of Web 101 course, the winder is the fussiest customer profile, usually far more fussy than your end-use customer, and perhaps fussier than you can pick up with your lab tests or online scanners. If you use the free Roysum Library Search Tool by Abbott App, you will find over 1,000 articles, columns, papers, theses, and other publications on defects. You will also find 10 books, including 2 must-have references, the first being a defect encyclopedia and the second being a winding textbook. There are also specialized defect books such as for paper making or coding. However, let me suggest that a far faster way may be to take my award-winning and trademark Web 101 training that has been taken by 5,000 students, from operators to PhDs. In just 2 or 3 days, you will learn nearly everything you will ever need to know about web and winding defects. Thank you so very much for allowing me to share my thoughts on great questions in web handling. Stay tuned for the final clip in this series, where we will show who is actually at fault. I think you'll be quite surprised. Please like and share if you found something interesting or useful here. See you next time.